Summit attendees. Welcome to day 2 of our 2020 Startup of the Year Top 100 Semifinalist Pitches. I'm Jen Consalvo.
And I'm Frank Gruber, and we're the co-CEOs of Established, who are also your hosts today and throughout the week for the Startup of the Year Summit. We're so happy to have you here today, as well as over the last day or so, and hopefully into tomorrow, as we're having a great time here with the Summit. Haven't you been having fun, Jen?
I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
I hope
we'd actually never leave this desk.
Never.
But hopefully you're enjoying yourself online and having a good time there. And we'd love to hear some of your favorite experiences. We've had some great conversations, whether it be learning about the number of relationships we can manage at one time with V-Band, or learning the story of how Kara Golden kind of became an accidental entrepreneur and grew what was now Hint Water, and then now has her new book Undaunted out as well. So a lot going on there. And then, or you could have maybe interacted with somebody on one of our AMAs. We have some great AMA sessions with VCs and thought leaders, and you can get your questions answered over there. So we'd love you to join the conversation, whether it be in the chat functionality on this platform or over on social, on Instagram or Twitter, or your favorite social app or of choosing, and use the hashtag. Use the hashtag Startup of the Year, and we'll be able to interact with you over there and make sure that we give you some love as well. So for those of you that are having a great time and enjoying it, though, it's not too late. You can have your friends, family, pets, whoever you want to have join you on this journey, and there's a link here if you want to get them signed up and have them join you today or tomorrow. We'll be here till Wednesday. So
the more the merrier.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm excited to have you here, and please spread the word.
And in addition to the talks and the Ask Me Anythings, we also included short recaps of our spring and summer virtual events for you. So we hosted a whole bunch of preliminary pitch events that focused on female founders, Black founders, U.S. veteran founders, as well as a special COVID-19 event from April featuring some amazing Startup of the Year alumni. So if you want to see those or see even more of those in their entirety, plus other events we've done, go to Established's YouTube channel. So the link is there. Head on over and you can see the entire episode.
We've been pretty busy online since the whole COVID thing hit.
We have not stopped. It's also important to Startup of the Year that founders and their teams can share their work and connect with experts, industry leaders, ecosystem builders, others to help them learn and grow. And that's our intention with our curated office hours. So last year at Summit, which we hosted in Memphis, if you recall.
Walking in Memphis,
yes,
I remember.
We curated over 500 matchmaking meetings with our top 100 startups. And this year we're doing the same thing. We're doing it online. You can
online in the computer.
We've made those connections. Those connections are happening right now. And if you want to connect with someone and you haven't been set up with them, it doesn't matter. Just find them online. We have functionality for you to do so. Just jump in and connect with them. Have a one-on-one meeting.
Yeah, and so hopefully you're doing that and building those relationships that hopefully will last. Throughout the summit, we also have these pitch competition component. Obviously, it is Startup of the Year. So we've got 3 rounds of semifinalist pitches. Some of our top 100 startups are competing. Yesterday was day 1, and we had some amazing pitches.
So impressive.
Different group of judges, and today is our day 2, and so we've got our judges coming out here shortly. But we're excited to share a bit about, we're excited to share a little bit about each of the companies, and hopefully over the course of the way here, you've had a chance to see some of them. But some of the things we found interesting is that over half of the startups have a female founder on their team. So that's pretty amazing. 74% of the teams have a founder of color.
74%.
74%. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. There's close to 20% of the companies have a military veteran on the founding team. And then, we spent a lot of time getting to know these early stage companies, and we'd love you to do the same by either watching their pitches or maybe even going out. We have an ongoing poll out there, the People's Choice Poll. If you go on to est.us/poll, you can actually go through and see all the companies. There's pitch videos. You can actually watch their short pitches and select your favorite. And it actually means a lot to these companies if you get a chance to watch them, learn a little bit about them, and cast your vote. It's that voting season.
Yes. All right, before our first pitch of the day, we want to thank our sponsors and partners who make all of this possible. So first up, big thank you to .us. They are a top-level domain and is sponsoring the .us Veteran Startup of the Year category with a $10,000 non-dilutive cash prize and a free domain offer. So if you're ready to take advantage of the free opportunity to get your idea online, So this is something
I'm still caught on the $10,000 non-dilutive. That's amazing.
I know, that's awesome. But you know, I feel like everybody has an idea in the back of their mind. Yes. And if you have one that you just haven't acted on yet, this is a great opportunity to go out there and get the URL for free.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that. We have established.us. We also have est.us.
Because we like shorter things too.
Yes,
yeah.
Zoom, MasterCard. I think you're in really good company. So go grab your free .us domain today. And as part of what they're sponsoring, we have this veteran program. It takes place on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. You can watch this special session where we're going to show the U.S. veteran competitors, and then you'll see the winner announced during the award ceremony right afterwards. So really excited for that.
Some great companies.
Yes. We'd also like to thank Cloud 303. They're a team of elite certified solution architects who implement solutions in the AWS cloud. I think you're probably familiar with AWS, and this team really knows their stuff. Hopefully some of you were able to join Phil Sapinski at this morning's Ask a Cloud Expert session. If not, you can watch the recording and glean all those insights at your leisure. But thank you to all of our sponsors and partners for all of your support.
Yeah, so in addition to the sponsors and partners, the established team has been working with a solid network of community partners. So these are entrepreneurship and support organizations, companies, investors, other leading organizations that elevate high potential founders. So we've had like hundreds of these startup ambassadors and investor partners, and they help support the getting these top 100 startups to us and getting them on the main stage. So you'll hear some of them mentioned throughout today's event and into tomorrow. But first, I want to recognize a few here. So first off, Freeman Capital is a Louisiana-based venture capital firm and accelerator program focused on Louisiana Tech University. I'm having a hard time with Louisiana today. I got to practice, I guess. Anyway, Louisiana Tech, obviously, as you've heard of that, and they are helping with getting some of those companies here. And then also American Inno, which is a media portfolio online. So you've probably seen some of their publications throughout the 15 cities that they connect and share coverage around startups and tech in the ecosystem that are in those cities. So they're also a partner, and be sure to visit their website and find a city near you, and you can subscribe and get all the important insights of the local innovation economy that are happening around your neighborhood.
Yep. All right, so it's time to introduce our incredible panel of judges. We'd first like to welcome Falon Donahue from Narya Ventures to the stage. Falon partnered with JD Vance at Narya Ventures, which is a thesis-driven early-stage venture capital firm based in Ohio.
Ohio.
Yay! Falon is also the founder and managing partner at Sadie Ventures, a seed-stage venture capital firm that invests in visionary and dynamic founders across the Midwest. Well,
all right.
All right. Next up, we have John Fein. John is founder and managing partner at Firebrand Ventures, a seed-stage venture fund. Prior to founding Firebrand, he served as managing director for Techstars. Welcome, John. You with us?
Yes.
There he is.
There
Thanks
you
for
are.
having me.
Fantastic.
Welcome, John. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Who's next?
Oh, yeah. So next we've got, so now we've got our next guest is Cheryl Campos. She's the head of the venture growth and partnership group at Republic. And so she's actually the one-stop shop for founders that are looking to raise both accredited or non-accredited investors. She's recently joined us as a judge in May. So she's a return judge, and she's basically was part of our female founders event. So she's very experienced here with what we're up to. And she's also passionate about the intersection of finance, technology, and social impact, and focuses on introducing underrepresented founders to alternative funding sources. She also most recently has become an investment partner or investor partner with the community fund as well. So she's very busy, and glad you could join us. Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Thank you so much for having me again, guys. This is going to be great.
Yes, we're excited. All right, next up, we've got Gary Bennett. He's a managing director with Social Leverage, which focuses on seed stage investing in enterprise companies. Gary is a seasoned serial entrepreneur and has been part of 4 founding teams in both the consumer and B2B company space and over the last 18 years. So he's been very busy. Most recently, he spent 3 years as a CEO of Desk.com, which was a company that was basically turned in from Assistly, which was acquired in 2011 by Salesforce. So welcome, Gary. Great to see you.
Hey, guys. Great to see you, too. Thanks for having me on.
I think we met you during startup number 2.
Yeah, 2 or 1. I can't remember.
Startup number 3.
Was it 3?
It was
What was the widget one?
GUI.
GUI, I know, but what? GUI, was that 3 already?
It was 3.
Wow. Wow.
Busy guy. All right, who's
All right, our fifth and final
judge?
judge is Sherman Williams. Sherman is a experienced advisor and investor with extensive experience in healthcare technology, life sciences industry, as well as he's invested in frontier technology, including space. Wow, that's amazing. And logistics and marketplaces. So he likes those areas. Prior to that, he was a full-time investor. Before becoming a full-time investor, he gathered 6 years of investment banking experience in the M&A field. He's also served as a naval intelligence officer. So very well-rounded person there. Thanks for joining us, Sherman.
Hey, Sherman.
Great to meet you guys.
Great to see you.
All right.
All right, so thanks to all our judges. I think we are all ready. I'm just going to ask all of you to mute your microphones until you're ready to ask questions. We're going to get started now. This is how it's going to work. We have 17 companies at this session. Each startup will present a 2-minute pitch. They will each engage with the judges for a 3-minute Q&A. We will have a little friend, Bessie the llama. She's going to pop up during the Q&A with a timer. So as soon as the timer goes through its time, it's going to say time up, time's up, and we're going to stop. If we're mid-answer or right when you asked a question, we'll do 30 seconds just to answer that question, and then we'll move on. All right.
Yes, and I will be mesmerized the entire time by Bessie the llama. As you know, I'm a llama and alpaca lover, so I'm excited to have Bessie joining us. It'll probably annoy the startups though, a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, they don't want to see Bessie. Okay. So first off, our first company is actually called 70 Million Jobs. It's from Los Angeles, California. 70 Million Jobs came to us through Springtime Ventures, a venture investment partner of the Start with Your program, connecting entrepreneurs to friendly venture capital. So let's watch their pitch.
My name is Richard Bronson. I'm the founder and CEO of Commissary Club, the first social network exclusively for those with criminal records. There's almost no chance for people leaving prison to have a successful reentry, but we're going to change that. I launched 70 Million Jobs, the first for-profit employment platform for people with records. After going through Y Combinator, we helped thousands of deserving people find jobs. But when the coronavirus hit, companies stopped hiring. It was time to pursue my dream. Build the first social network for this population I know so well. In addition to employment, now that we're tackling housing, education, mentorships, legal, medical help, voting, and even more, all while connecting our users. This is a huge global market we're talking about. It also includes family and friends. And right now, we are the only company that sells into this market, literally the only one. We'll make money the same way Facebook does it, by running ads. And trust me, my people buy a lot of sneakers and a lot of mobile phones. And I don't think I have to tell you that when social networks hit, they hit big. I have a great team that's been with me for years. But me, I made a lot of money on Wall Street where I built a $100 million business. But I also broke a bunch of laws and spent 2 years in federal prison. When I got out, I discovered my calling in life, help others win at reentry. Right now, I'm raising $2 million as a seed extension round through Safes with a $10 million market cap. We think it's high time we stop thinking about the formerly incarcerated as just second-class citizens. I know we can make a lot of money while we're changing the world. Who's in?
Richard, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're going to do our Q&A now. Judges, who wants to be the first to jump in at our day 2 pitch session here?
Yeah, I'll jump in here. Sorry. Hey,
Cheryl
this is Cheryl. So I've seen 70 Million Jobs in the past, and want to know a little bit more about how you're kind of including that within the Commissary Club right now, and then how are you planning on expanding into these other verticals as well?
We started out identifying employment as being the critical deliverable in order for someone to have a successful reentry. Unemployment correlates directly with recidivism, and that's the real killer. We got really good at it over the course of 3 years. We helped thousands of people, and we felt now is the time to leverage our huge community in the millions, our relationships with 450 nonprofits, government agencies, and tackle things like housing and education and banking and fitness and even a dating site. These are all existentially important and no one addresses them at all. At the same time, we want to connect people so they can serve as friends and inspiration to one another.
Great, Gary, next question.
Sure. So first of all, great cause, obviously, and congrats on getting to this point. I think my question is probably similar in that it's not clear to me when you have so many things that you're embarking on, and you've got social network as the center of it, but then there's housing and education. What is the core product, and how do you get from point A to kind of the next step?
First, I'm fully aware that we couldn't possibly be handling all of these verticals ourselves. So while we will continue with employment, we have trusted third-party service providers with whom we have vetted and have negotiated reduced prices when applicable that we can refer business to and also be paid for those referrals. But the key component that we're betting on is the fact that these are folks, people with records that live in the shadows. These are folks that have been marginalized, and because there's so few connections between them, they're not available to each other. They come out of prison and they are deers in the headlights. They don't know what to do or how to do it. I can tell you that personally. We aim to put them together so that they can find strength together and speak in one voice together. And just like women and just like African Americans and every other marginalized community in the past, together they can be strong.
Great. I think we're out of time. We got Betsy the Llama going there, but thank you so much, Richard, for sharing your pitch here and your thoughts. All right, next up.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yep, thanks so much.
All right, next up is Andonix. We're going to wait actually 1 second, judges. I'm going to make sure you got your scores in.
Yep, give us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
When you're ready to go. All right.
Great.
It's always hard to go first, right? You did a great job.
All right, Falon, you good? Thumbs
Thumbs
up.
up.
All right,
Okay.
great. That's everyone. Next up is Andonix from Detroit, Michigan. Let's hear their pitch.
Hi, I am David, and I am CEO and co-founder of Andonix.
And I'm Oliver, co-founder and chief revenue officer of Andonix. Both David and I worked 25 years in the automotive industry, hence no hair. And during all these years, we managed and guided frontline workers with paper-based systems. And this is pervasive in labor-intensive companies. In the US, they employ 30 million workers, and 8.5 million of them are in the manufacturing sector. And why is this important? Because paper-based systems make training, collaboration, and problem-solving tremendously inefficient, causing these companies $130 billion a year and wasting on profits.
And that is why we decided to create a smart workstation, a product that features functionalities like YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, and Wikipedia, so people can connect to each other, crowdsource and create content, transfer it to others to train step by step, and if they get in trouble, they can ask for help with OnStart type functionalities. Earlier this year, the pandemic struck, and we decided to launch SafelyPass as a complement to a smart workstation and to protect workers and automate site entry and workplace compliance.
Over the last 100 days, we acquired 8,500 daily active users in 40 companies, generating $300,000 in annual recurring revenue, and with contracts under consideration worth another $400,000.
Andonix is a software as a service company, and we target customers in labor-intensive industries like manufacturing and supply chain. SafelyPass enables a really, really fast time to value, and then we upsell and harvest, charging up to $25 per user per month.
We use inbound and outbound marketing tactics to acquire customers, and we recently finished strategic partnerships with AWS and Hitachi. We also had tremendous press coverage, and Andonix was featured by Harvard Business School in a business case involving innovation.
Recently, the Latin American Development Bank took notice in Andonix and decided to invest, and this created a great opportunity to invite other investors to join us in their mission to protect, augment, and upskill workers. Would you like to join us? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Welcome, co-founders David Yanez and Oliver Tays.
Thank
So,
you.
Judges, jump in with your questions. Just remember to unmute.
Of the work streams that you add AR to at this point, can you label which ones are getting the most uptake with your current customers? And how many work streams can you help bring AR to?
So basically, we're talking about use cases in quality, training, and operations. So we have a lot of traction with manufacturing companies and supply chain companies. Talk about automotive, aerospace, and also warehousing and distribution. That is where we care about, and that's where we target our adoption and entry point. That's where we have a lot of traction.
Okay, got it.
Hey, so in terms of competition, I'm assuming you're not the only folks in this space. This is not my area of expertise, but would love to know more about what other people are doing and how in particular are you differentiated?
Yes, there's mainly three things where we differentiate unlike competitors in our space. The first one is that we have a unique relationship with the end user, and we can create value directly to them. In other cases, the other competitors just create value for companies. The second thing is our go-to-market. It's a bottom-up approach. So we start what we call a land and expand. We start with the end user, the frontline worker, and then we scale quickly inside the organization. And the third thing is ROI, which is a function, or return of investment, which is a function of time to value, the investment, and obviously the amount of value we create. That's where we differentiate tremendously.
More questions?
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Sherman.
I was gonna say, do you guys keep all the data? You guys keep all the data, and do you feed like data dashboards back to the customer? Can you tell me those two things?
Yes, absolutely. That we use data to create another moat around our value proposition: predict, prescribe, and prevent. So some of this data is anonymized, so we can compare and benchmark companies to each other, and we help them to do that. And the second thing is that we can predict outcomes and prescribe best practices. So the more data, the better our algorithm gets.
Thank you.
John, do you have a quick question?
Yeah, just a quick question. In their pitch, you mentioned that some of the content is crowdsourced by the customer. Is that correct?
Yes, we enable clients basically to create their own content. Similar like YouTube everybody creates their own content. We enable the same thing.
And what is that a big percentage of the content that the customer ends up having is crowdsourced by themselves?
It's all of it, actually. We don't create any content for them, and that's what makes this platform really agile.
Got it. Thank you.
All right, we're at time.
Excellent. Thank you, David and Oliver.
Thank you.
And judges, take a moment to mark your scores.
Wow, they made quite the pivot there with the COVID.
You know, it's been interesting to see between the pitches yesterday, and I mean, we've seen them all already.
Mm-hmm.
How many of them have been able to take a time period that's been so challenging for so many,
Yep.
and pivot and find creative ways,
Yeah.
and in many cases, new businesses.
Right, they weren't
Really
doing that
interesting.
before the whole thing.
Right,
So, yeah,
right.
interesting.
All right, I think
All
we're
right,
ready.
thumbs up. All right, here we go. All right, next up, out of Austin, Texas, our third company is At Ease. Let's watch their pitch.
Hello, I'm Major Anthony Gant, the founder and CEO of At Ease, simplifying temporary housing for our heroes. Because in 2018, when I moved to Austin for relocation, I booked a home off of a popular booking site only to find out that accommodation was not going to be reimbursed. You can imagine my surprise. And the reason being, our heroes are forbidden from using common tools like Airbnb and VRBO to find short-term housing because of the possibility of a non-compliant listing and a fraudulent listing. And every 2 or 3 years when service members are moving and looking for somewhere to stay, they run the risk of losing on an average of $1,900. Until now, At Ease is embedded with compliance in its model, where we prioritize compliance and we ensure that every listing is federally approved, which authorizes it for official travel and making sure that it stays within the federal price allowance for nightly rates. Our business model is our opportunity towards success, where certifications require inspection and registration, an agency fee where we take that allowance that the government is willing to give and the delta of what that property owner needs nightly. And every 12 months, there's a recertification cycle where we are again charging that property owner to ensure that their property stays within standards. The opportunity is large. We have military families, service members, and federal employees all traveling either for work or relocation. All that happened continuously through the pandemic. To date, we've grossed over $72,000 and have a line of sight for upwards to $96,000. We also have a partnership that is bringing on a multi-thousand listings here in the next 6 months. Our team is military and industry professionals. Of note, our mentor is the founder and former CEO of HomeAway. Our vision is simple: to simplify moving by starting one point at a time with temporary housing. I'm Anthony Gant, the CEO of At Ease.
Welcome, Anthony Gant.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Great. All right. First question. Who wants to jump in?
I've got two quick ones.
Okay, go ahead, Gary.
The 72K gross, what's your take on that? And then sorry, go ahead.
14% has been our take so far, Gary.
Okay, great. And then the second is, obviously these other platforms are still innovating, and at some point, if they add, a different kind of certification as part of their process, is that something that you're worried about, or you don't think that they're going to be able to do that?
No, I'm not worried about it because Airbnb has gone to Congress and asked for the leverage or the waiver of the compliance regulations. The problem is that they have over 7 million properties on their platform right now, and they have to go backwards and inspect every single property. We're doing that out the gate. So we believe that this is something that they'll be looking at and trying to bring it to their model at a later date. But right now, since we're doing it one step at a time, I don't think they're going to try to go back that way.
All right.
Falon,
go ahead.
Yeah, I just was wondering if you could dig in a little bit into how you're acquiring customers and if you're able to partner with different government agencies or branches of service to advertise on their platforms.
We're in the process. Thank you for that question, Falon. We're in the process of looking at how we do make that relationship with those different government agencies to advertise. But the way we acquire the property managers is through phone calls, through emails, and old school methods of knocking on people's doors. Some people still go into the office, like San Diego and San Antonio. And then Rentals United, they have 32,000 listings in the United States, where since we partnered with them, they're giving us access to those 32,000 listings and those managers. We understand that we won't capture all 32,000, but it's a good segue into what we're trying to accomplish.
All right. Got about a minute left. We could probably squeeze in another question. Who has it? Anyone?
Can you talk about your ability to expand outside of Department of Defense?
Yes, we have the ability to expand this to not just to the DoD, but also all other 15 agencies in the executive branch and then the other sectors of the government, as well as state and local governments, county, municipalities, townships, and whatnot. Because what we're seeing in regulation is this is not regulated only to the DoD, but all government agencies have kind of put a stipulation into blocking out the booking platforms. If you look at how hotels do it, they already go through the compliance and meet the requirements of the government, and we're taking that same approach with the short-term rental space.
Great.
I was going to try and sneak in a quick one.
All right, quick.
So the 72K that you've generated in revenue so far this year, how many rentals does that equate to?
That was 13 rentals, but we have a total of 600 on the platform.
Thank you.
Great. Nice work with managing the clock there too. Perfect. And we're at time. And thank you so much, Anthony. Really appreciate it. Judges.
Well, have a great day.
Thank you. All right, judges, go ahead and get your scores in there. And not something I would have thought about, the housing situation. I mean, we've all used Airbnb or VRBO and
yep. It's so many of these products come out of need, right? Someone has a firsthand situation that they've noticed and said, I'm not the only one with this problem, and then looked at something and discovered there's a market here. Let's do something about it.
Exactly.
All right.
You good?
I think we're good.
Okay.
Moving on. Next up, Beagle Learning from Boston, Massachusetts. They're an alumni from the Air Force Accelerator powered by Techstars. Let's hear their pitch.
Hi, my name is Turner Bolin. I'm CEO and co-founder of Beagle Learning. 40% of students who enter the US higher education system don't graduate. And 36% graduate but don't get the strategic thinking and problem-solving skills that they need to be successful in the modern workforce. This isn't just a moral problem, it's a financial one. US higher education institutions lose an estimated $10 billion every year because of dropouts, and the Fortune 500 lose $81 billion because their staff don't have the problem-solving skills they need. Interactive learning can offer 10% higher persistence to graduation, 14% better problem-solving skills, and 50% better knowledge retention than traditional passive lecture-based learning. So the Beagle Learning web app provides plug-and-play interactive learning that can fit any learning environment. We do this using software-guided workflows that follow how we naturally learn, forming questions, finding information relevant to those questions, and then sharing key insights with our teams and colleagues. AI, self, and peer feedback is used in order to assess key skills like collaboration and problem solving. And we market all this directly to instructors who have been responding to our SEO and cold email outreach at 4 times industry standard rates. That's opening us up to an initial $80 million beachhead market within the much broader $36 billion skill building marketplace. The National Science Foundation, Department of Defense, and Arizona State University have all already funded our product development, and we're expecting to achieve $750,000 of combined sales in the DoD and education spaces this year. We've put together a really exciting mission-backed team, mission-focused team to back this work, including an advisory board that combines over a century of education and government contracting experience. So if you see a need for education built for the information age, please reach out. We would love to work together. Thank you.
All right, welcome to the stage, Turner Bolin.
Thank you, good to be here.
Great to have you. Judges, jump in with questions.
I have a question. So obviously a hot topic, education these days with COVID. I was going to ask you, besides the workflow you described in the pitch, how are your courses or curriculums more engaging for students? For example, are they more visual, or however you make them more engaging?
Yeah, so the secret about engagement is that today in education, we focus a ton on gamifying it or making it look flashy. And the thing that is the most engaging for any student out there is that they understand why they're learning something. So we actually put all our focus on having student choice be embedded into the process so they can say what they want to learn and why it's relevant to them. And we find that has a much bigger outcome than trying to make sure the content is highly produced. Although we do that too.
Yeah, so in terms of the actual kind of subjects, do you focus on specific types, or because I know I'm sure like math, for example, has a very different kind of engagement than like say English or something like that?
Yeah, you're exactly right. They certainly do differ. We are content agnostic, so anyone who wants to implement something like this can pick up our raw platform with no content. But we focus on building out content for a couple areas. So we do a lot of work for the Air Force, specifically for their air crew and pilot training. And then within the education spaces, we work with the sciences quite a lot. And then we work with things like politics and English, where critical thinking skills are often involved in the conversation already.
So when you're building the courses, is that consulting engagements to figure out the right content to build?
Yeah, so we get paid on a consulting engagement along with the recurring revenue from the contract. And then what we do is we generally retain ownership of what we build through that, and we resell it as a prepackaged content afterwards. So it allows us to expand a lot quicker within new markets that way.
That's a good idea. Getting paid.
Did you, sorry, did you start in the government sector and then go to private, or vice versa? And I'd be curious like how you're thinking about those two markets, because they're very different.
Yeah, they are. So we started in education, and we actually started working with the Air Force through that Air Force accelerator that was mentioned. And the thing that's interesting is there's a really great proven track for dual use technologies that get funding through the DoD for product development and then are able to distribute the resulting product in 2 environments. So that's what we do. It does mean we have to serve 2 slightly different markets, but I will say there are some quirks that are similar. They have similar attitudes to how they want to do training, and they have similar controls at the administrative level to how they're going to purchase. So we have to know the markets a little differently, but the way we can approach sales is actually pretty similar. Thank you all.
All right. Time is up.
All right.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it, Turner.
Judges, mark your scores. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready, and then we'll move to the next one.
Education is so important right now.
You know, yesterday we had one or two as well, and so I'm gonna do it again. Thank you, teachers out there. You have an extra big challenge this year, and thank you to all the parents. We know your pain. We experience it too, and you know, hang in there. Everyone's doing the best they can and doing a great job.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
All right.
Who's up?
Next up, we've got Freeman Capital from Charlotte, North Carolina. Freeman Capital is an alum of the Black Founders Exchange, a program in collaboration with Google for startups as well. So let's watch their pitch.
Hello, I'm Calvin Williams, a product leader with over 15 years in both finance and technology. And Freeman Capital is a seed stage startup that is disrupting the financial planning business model. And we make building wealth easy. So the problem is, for most, it's very hard. And for people of color, especially because of lack of access, tools, and education. That makes most people's wealth journey look like this, a complete mess. So at Freeman Capital, we are providing a platform that provides a clear path to build wealth. Through one-on-one advice powered by automation or humans, we provide wealth actions, education, and advice for every need. We spoke to over 4,000 people, and they are sick of using these one-off apps, and so we built them an end-to-end solution. When people onboard at Freeman, we identify their missing wealth steps, provide them algorithm-based recommendations, and help them identify what they can do to build wealth. When they're ready, we also can do additional recommendations of strategies that people like them have used to build wealth. Our market size is over $1.8 trillion. We're generating revenue through subscriptions, fees, and commissions. We've been a direct-to-consumer brand, but next year we are launching our first financial wellness pilot with a Fortune 10 company. I am so proud to lead a team of individuals who have over 200 years of experience in finance, technology, and marketing for some of the biggest firms in the world. And we are on pace to have over 100K in annual recurring revenue due to our 23% month-over-month growth rate and our net promoter score of 61. But what matters the most is how 80% of our users have gone on to build wealth in their first year. We are raising a seed round, and we're excited to talk about that in Q&A. I am Calvin Williams. This is Freeman Capital. Let's do something amazing and close the wealth gap, because wealth starts here.
Great job, Calvin. Welcome.
Thank you.
Calvin Williams. All right. Who wants to jump in with the first question? All right, go ahead, Sherman.
Hey, Calvin, this is Sherman. What is your actual strategy? You come up with a savings plan? You have people investing in ETFs? What is your actual, and I guess academic kind of work is behind some of your savings or investing strategies?
Yes, happy to explain. So what we did was that we sat down with certified financial planners. That's the highest designation of financial planning that you can have in the country. We then mapped out a decision tree from when you get your first job to then retiring financially independent. When someone joins onto our platform, we can identify the missing steps that they have from foundations, behaviors, and then what successes. And then based off of that, the algorithm can then present them with the automated recommendations, or they can work with a human. We make it super simple though, because we only give them 3 recommendations per month so that they can focus on what they have to do. And that then gives them focus and momentum.
Got it. Next question.
Yeah, Calvin, I met you actually prior to COVID. So I love that, you've grown, your pitch is really strong now. And you've grown in terms of revenue, which is great. Can you delineate again kind of where the revenue streams are coming from, and also kind of how you're pivoting to this kind of B2B model as well?
Happy to elaborate. So our primary driver of revenue is monthly recurring subscriptions. And so that is our plans, which vary from $15 to $250 per month, depending on what your needs and what your budget is. When we got into that, we then identified that this financial planning is a beachhead to the rest of their financial needs. People then needed insurance. And so then we then add that as a nested part of our service. And if they want to, they can bring their assets to Freeman Capital, but they don't have to. And so the way that our revenue is driven is primarily through the subscriptions, then insurance products as needed, and AUM if they do decide to bring us assets. As a result of some of the success that you even mentioned, a Fortune 10 company reached out to us because they had a Black supplier goal due to the $1 billion roundtable to allocate money to Black-owned businesses. And then they said that we're the only Black-owned firm in the nation doing financial wellness, which we knew that. And so we'll be able to help their new employees get acclimated to the new higher income, the benefits, and the retirement plan, and then still give them one-on-one recommendations that increase their net worth and the company's retirement contributions.
All right. Quick question, Falon. Can you get it in quick, do you think?
Yeah, I'll just ask quickly what your user retention rate is.
4% is our churn rate month over month. So we're keeping 96%, which is below the average of 5% per our competition.
Great. Excellent. Nice job, Calvin. Thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, judges.
Get your scores in.
Yep.
I think I'm a financial app junkie.
You are.
So you know how you can organize on your phone folders? I have an entire folder just dedicated to all my financial apps.
And there's a folder inside that folder.
Yeah,
I'm
maybe.
kidding.
I like being organized with my finances. All right. Good. Everyone good? All right. We are going to move on to the next company. We have Glass from Berkeley, California. Let's hear their pitch.
Hello, I'm Paula Santana, founder and CEO of Glass, the next breakthrough in government systems. Governments are the biggest decision makers in the world, determining the way we live and the opportunities that we have to thrive. One of the loudest ways that governments talk is by allocating public funds behind the initiatives that they want to see happen in our communities. This is called government procurement. It's a $12 trillion global industry that is very slow, manual, and expensive. So we've created Glass Commerce, the world's first government marketplace for small purchases without bids or paperwork. With Glass Commerce, government buyers can come in a very simple way with no distractions and no ads and search for what they need. That's the main call to action. They can search for products, sort from verified vendors, add to cart, get a receipt, and track their analytics and spending in very beautiful and simple visual dashboards. The key for us has been to start on micro purchases, small purchases under $10,000 without bids. There is a $150 billion market only in the United States. Having governments to adopt new technology usually is very difficult, but fortunately I've done this already twice. I'm a second-time tech entrepreneur, lawyer, and government procurement expert, and I'm behind the world's first drone delivery network established in the United States with fully permission from the FAA, supported by Mercedes-Benz and UPS, and also in Switzerland and other parts of the world. My team comes from, and advisors come from NASA, the World Bank, eBay, and with this team, we've been able to launch a live marketplace and has been able to deliver to government over 4.5 million products even during the pandemic, having onboarded hundreds of verified vendors and serve government customers from the state of Illinois, the state of Florida, and Veteran Affairs. As a first mover in a massive market with a positive regulatory shift, there's no reason why we aren't a $1 billion company in the making. However, we believe we're a $100 billion company in the making because we're taking this very mature but fragmented software enterprise industry, taking all those solutions and turning them into a simple, single ecosystem for governments, exclusively designed for their decision makers. So let's take governments to the next level together.
All right, thank you, and welcome, Paula Santana. Let's jump in with questions.
Yeah, can you just talk a little bit about your performance so far? So when did you start officially? What happened with COVID, and kind of where you are right now in terms of both revenue and customers?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we started officially with the first product and version 1 in October of 2019. We were doing little transactions because, again, we wanted to focus on micro purchases. These purchases under $10,000, just government swiping the card all the time. And we were having like $1,000, $10,000 per month transactions. Then COVID hit and we started getting large orders not through the marketplace, but on the phone and on email. So we started taking all these government orders of commercial items. Commercial items is something that governments can buy very fast. And even though it's a large order, they know they can buy it with a couple of clicks because it's something that is very simple, like a mask, like hand sanitizer. So we started getting those orders. We were able to get 3.5 million in sales just in last quarter. And then the funny thing for us is to try to understand what is our ideal repeatable customer, that is the person with the credit card, but how to also serve the people that need the emergency purchase. So what we're doing is to use the big purchases as a lead generator for the little purchases. So the conversation in the agencies is like, we bought millions of dollars from these guys, just swipe the card. That's the transition we're doing now. And the bottom line there is, how can we take procurement, big, chunky, bulky procurement, at the simplicity of commerce? Click, click, click. That's where we are. We have about 12 government customers today. We're trying to push them to be repeatable because there are 8 million government decision makers buying as you and I talk today, and they can just swipe a card right now. So.
Great.
So what do you, sorry, go ahead, Sherman.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Paola. So from that initial group of customers you had right when COVID hit, what has the repeatability been like? Let's say the second half of COVID up until now.
It's about electronics and things that governments need now that they're settling and reopening. We've been serving some national labs, for example, like Berkeley National Lab. They're buying things that they need very urgently and they cannot wait for the traditional suppliers. So they're just like, can I get 200 hand sanitizers because I'm opening tomorrow? And we know these guys and they have many other vendors. So if they cannot do it, they will get me a vendor. And I don't care about paying 2 or 3 times for delivery because I just know I need this now. So that has been like, when procurement works, everything's great. They don't need us. But every time procurement doesn't work, in emergency, for little things, for the things nobody scheduled, we are becoming this person. And we just launched a new website. You can look it up. It's beautiful. We give financing, escrow, pay later, 1 click, get free quotes. Don't call or email vendors to figure out if they will give you 3 quotes so you can actually make a decision. So we're learning a lot just by working with them because every different agency needs something different. And for all these little things that are not part of the procurement process, we're there. And the product is very lightweight. Click, click, click. Nothing to download. It lives in the cloud.
Gary, go ahead if you have a question still.
Sure. It was just on the supplier side. How do you string together the different suppliers? And then is there a standard take rate that you get on every product, or how do you make money?
It's not standard. We started making money just by charging a percentage on the successful transaction. Now we have a mini product that is called Glass Quotes. We realized that many government agencies, they have their procurement system, but they just want to get free quotes very fast because they need to comply with having 3 before they choose 1. And we realized that vendors, if we have a network of vendors that have been verified, checking every blacklist, and we know they're totally great, but they cannot just be sending a quote every time. So what we did is systematize and digitize all of that. And we charge them 1% of every successful transaction they do to government. And they're like, oh, you guys are serving as our sales agent. So do that. I will give you that 1%. I would put my price lower just because you're selling to someone that I never thought I was going to sell, that is government. So vendors are happy. We are doing that manually initially, but we are pursuing, to have the personalized thing with vendors. But now what we're doing.
I have to cut you off because we've gone well over time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Paula.
Thanks, Paula.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. So
judges, mark your scores.
And Paula was a part of our South by Southwest event, right?
Yep, one of our past ones,
right.
And actually seeing their growth since.
Yeah, not this year, it was last year.
Right. They're then they're very early stage, and it's been really exciting to see where they've come, or how far they've come.
Yes.
All right, all good.
All right.
Beautiful. Let's see our next company.
So our next company is coming out of Tampa, Florida. It's a company called Griffin. And they were a startup that came through our partner Embark Collective, one of our outstanding hubs in the Tampa Bay startup community. So welcome. Let's watch the pitch first.
Everyone, my name is Aaron Frug, and I am the co-founder and CEO of Griffin. Griffin stands for the greatest revolution in finance is now, and we built an app that automatically buys you stock where you shop. Griffin is a completely innovative app that allows you to truly experience investing for the first time. At Griffin, we believe owning stock should be just as easy as this. Pick up your Starbucks cup of coffee in the morning and then automatically investing $1 in Starbucks stock. At Griffin, you buy stock where you shop. So you shop on Amazon.com, $1 goes to Amazon. Go buy something at Home Depot, now you own Home Depot. Anything in your life you can now own just by being you. Where purchases become investments and consumers become owners. And an app that is simple, engaging, and adventurous. We want it to be easy, so when you look at it, you just see the companies and the logos, you can track your transactions as you go, and watch your money grow. As well, we're super fortunate to be surrounded by a one-of-a-kind community of a lot of truly amazing people that believe in our mission and wear our t-shirts with pride. We're also built by an unbelievable team with an amazing background in true SEC compliance. This is a very heavily regulated business to run. As well as we have an amazing support network and awesome investors with unbelievable backgrounds. And we're going after a completely uncaptured market, what we call our first timers, the busy bees, and future planners. Parents with kids, first-time people investing, as well as people who just graduated college. There are thousands of people already on our waitlist ready to experience investing for the first time, and the ones who are already using the app absolutely love it. Right now, in the past, our goal was to build an app, which we did it. We got SEC approval. Now our focus is on acquiring customers, and in the future, we're going to become profitable by building a marketplace through loyalty programs, having and finding unique data sets, as well as creating premium subscriptions. Through market validation, there's 2 other competitors out there who after 5 years are already $11 billion companies. We believe that we can beat that. It's not investing, it's Griffin. Thank you so much.
Wow. Welcome, Aaron. And I want to own some stock in everything I own. I think Amazon would be one of them, probably.
Yeah, it's my number one on the app.
Yep, for sure. All right, so who's got the first question?
Hey, Aaron. What has your research shown when you're talking to potential customers is the reason why they would choose your company over, you mentioned Robinhood and Acorn?
Yeah. So
or anything else, I guess.
Sure. When you look at Robinhood and Acorns, as of right now, it's still a very finance-focused app that says we're going to do this for you. And what our focus is on is creating an action-first environment. So when I was younger, like my mom would say, like, don't put your hand on the stove, but the only way is to like put your hand on the stove. So we wanted to build something that like integrates into people's life and makes them feel confident that they can do it themselves instead of saying, we're going to hold your hand and we're going to help you. Like our focus is you're good enough. And so I think people get excited about the fact that they can actually explain it to other people and just say like, I just went to Starbucks, now I own it. The other places just invest you into like mutual funds and ETFs, as well as when you look at Robinhood, it's very, people run into decisional paralysis where they don't know what to choose and what to invest in themselves. So.
Yeah, no, I actually really like this idea, and it's similar to kind of what we're trying to build at Republic too. It's like you invest in private companies, but you believe in that you're a consumer of and all of that. So makes a lot of sense. I will say, for example, sometimes you shop at places where you don't realize that like values are aligned and stuff, and you end up investing them too because of the app. But like more and more people are voting for their dollars and stuff, and so I wanted to kind of know, how are you like telling them to opt into the buying the stock, or like how do you alert them that you're going to do this, and can they opt out if like they find out some things?
Yeah, so to make it easier, we wanted to make it an opt-out platform. So it's like it just invests you in everything. One of the biggest things is like, if you don't like a company, you can sell out of it. You can also just turn off companies that you don't like as well too. So I think that's a simple way to answer that. But like the hope is that we can educate people and actually bring in a way to like show them what they own and develop that into the app later on as well.
Gary, you're an investor in Robinhood. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a crowded space and lots of people are innovating in it. So I think it's a unique approach. I guess time will tell. 2 quick questions. One is, you mentioned it's $1 per transaction. Per transaction, is that configurable, or is it always $1? And then, I might love the company Tesla, but not be able to afford Tesla, a car. So how do can I buy stocks that I'm not actually shopping for?
Yeah, so right now we wanted to make a level playing field so that everybody financially felt that they could have the same access to it. In the future, it's very easy. We already built it out that you can customize, you can change it based off a percentage, or if you want to put away $5 or $10. So I tested it out. I went to Tesla.com and I bought a t-shirt, and it actually invested me into Tesla. So there's like unique ways that you can invest in these companies and things like that. But as of right now, after just like a month and a half, we've had people invest in over 300 unique companies, which is really cool to think that we like interact with that many different brands and we don't know. But so there's in the future though, we want to add more unique interaction ways. Maybe if somebody doesn't think that they can buy a t-shirt off of Tesla.
Right.
So, yeah.
That makes sense. All right. Thanks so much, Aaron.
Good question.
Yeah. Great questions, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us, Aaron. Really appreciate it.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right. So judges, get your score sheets going and we'll get ready for our next company here. We're already on our 8th company today. That's really interesting. I mean, obviously, I've always said I should own stock in that, right? Well, now you can, right? With that last step. And that was a good workaround for Tesla. I was thinking maybe you should put your down payment on your Cybertruck or something like that. And that can get you the stock, just so you can buy a little of Tesla.
I think we have a few team members who are thinking of that
excited
right
about
now.
that. Yes, for sure. Only a year away.
All right. All good? Our 8th pitch today is from Oi Health from Morristown, New Jersey. This company is alumni from our longtime partner, Tampa Bay Wave. Let's hear their pitch.
Hi, I'm Mario Anglada, CEO and founder of Oi Health. At Oi Health, we've been developing a primary care network for underserved medical communities across the U.S. So our solution offers consumers the ability to engage with primary care oriented around telemedicine, chronic condition management, and medication access programs in both English and Spanish in 3rd grade education level across all 50 states and Puerto Rico. We're focused on chronic condition management, and that's important because at the end of the day, a lot of the challenges of the communities that we're trying to serve are focused on chronic condition management. The financial opportunity is a $25 billion opportunity. Our model for engagement with federally qualified health centers, which are our primary target, is around $12.5 billion opportunity based on Medicare CPT billing codes that we are already executing with 4 partners in Puerto Rico, Texas, and California currently, and we're expanding it to other states as we speak. Our solution is built in a systematic fashion with solutions built that address the needs of consumers in all aspects of primary care. We have partnerships with various organizations across the US, many of them listed here. Our unit economics are very robust. We have remote patient monitoring revenues of around $740 per patient per year. Our team is a bilingual, diverse group from day one that has over 20 years of healthcare experience in various companies that you see listed here. We've been lucky to be selected as one of the 15 most innovative healthcare companies for last year. And we're going to be participating with Mayo and Arizona State University in their MedTech Accelerator at the end of this year. Lastly, we have a robust ecosystem support of experts in healthcare on a global basis that you see here. This advisory board is world-class, and we'd love to talk to you more about what we do at Oi Health. Thank you.
Welcome to the stage, Mario Anglada. Let's jump in with questions.
Mario, is it all telehealth, or do you have the ability, kind of like an Oak Street Health type setup, where people can go in person anywhere?
We don't, but we partner with physical presence partners, Sherman. So the idea is that you get one of our chronic condition management kits delivered to you, or you pick it up at a clinic. And that relationship starts your journey that goes from a chronic condition management, or if you need episodic telemedicine or medication support programs, we offer all. So our thesis is that you want to have a complete ecosystem for vulnerable populations. And we've built that with the help of 67,000 pharmacies across the US, a ton of different institutional players that are supporting our mission. But it's end-to-end solution. Obviously, our starting point is chronic conditions because that's 6 out of 10 adults in the US. And within the underserved medical communities, that's the biggest challenge that we face.
Got it. And you're tracking that patient through that entire process. Like if they hop from specialist to specialist, you're constantly keeping track of that and titrating.
we have the ability to do that. The dynamic and how we deploy today is we go to your medical professional, Sherman, and if they onboard you to our program, we're going to work with them to manage your condition specifically. If that includes other healthcare professionals, we'll connect through that initial patient relationship and physician relationship that we establish.
Thank you.
I didn't quite get the traction. I think I saw in the presentation that you said 1.7 million in contract LTV. Like, is that one contract? Like, where are you from a, from a progress perspective?
Yeah, year to date, we've been able to bring in 750,000. That was one contract. As you mentioned, we already have 5 other contracts. So our lifetime value for our contracts on average is about $2 million, and we're expanding into different health centers. Again, the dynamic for us is that when we go to our partners have this need already pre-existing, and we touch a population base that most others aren't focused on at this point in time.
All right, time for maybe one more question. Nope, all good. All right, then we're gonna wrap. Thank you so much, Mario.
Thank you for your time. Pleasure meeting you all.
Absolutely.
We got an efficient group of judges. Thank you for keeping it tight here.
Seriously. Yeah, stay on schedule today. All right, I'll give you a second to work on your scores. I would say my my next full folder on my phone full of health apps.
Oh. I knew that too.
Yeah, you probably did.
Yeah.
Okay, we ready for the next one?
Yep. I think we're good. All right. So next, this is number 9. So we're already halfway through, if you can believe that. So great job. More than half. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Like I said. Steal my line there. Okay. Now we're going to go through to Washington, D.C. We've got a company called Jeenie. And Jeenie, welcome. Let's watch your pitch.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Baker, CEO and co-founder of Jeenie, a mobile platform that connects you to a video or audio call with a live interpreter for on-demand language assistance. With the tap of a button, Jeenie connects you to one of thousands of qualified interpreters in over 125 countries, right on the screen of your mobile device or computer, anywhere, anytime. Jeenie is the first and only gig economy model in language services, poised to disrupt this $56 billion industry. Think of us as Uber for interpreters. Language is now a leading cause of preventable deaths in healthcare, with billions of dollars in lawsuits each year derived from a failure to provide competent interpretation. And providing medical interpreting is the law. Jeenie is targeting the over 250,000 small to medium-sized healthcare providers in the US who serve tens of millions of patients who have limited English or are deaf. Competitor solutions, though, are long outdated, based on call centers, even landlines and operators. Their old, capital-intensive model comes with a high price only big hospitals can afford. Jenie's assetless gig solution meets SME needs at a price they can afford. Minutes to set up, instant connection in under 30 seconds to your interpreter, mobility to go where care is needed, and the most affordable rates in the market while paying our interpreters more. Since winning the Startup of the Year pitch at South by Southwest in March, we've made great progress. We've gone from a few paying healthcare enterprise clients to over 100, acquiring new customers now at a rate of over 30% month over month. And with revenue growing at 50% month over month, we're on target to surpass 100,000 monthly recurring revenue in early Q1 next year. In addition to digital marketing and direct sales, we're also acquiring customers through partnerships with large known industry players. This traction and our team's decades of industry experience has given investors the confidence to invest $4 million in our company to date. Thank you for the opportunity to share our dream of Jeenie with you.
All right, welcome, Kirsten Brecht Baker, who's also our South by Southwest 2020 winner as well. So welcome back.
Thank you, Frank and Jen.
Yeah, definitely. Who's got the first question?
Yeah, sorry. Hi, I'm surprised that, there hasn't been another solution like this, which is interesting because it is true that some of these are super antiquated. So in that case, do you see like some of the incumbents kind of creating a solution like this that might be a little since they already have all the connections with all the major providers, is that something that you're preparing for, and you're just trying to like move as quickly as possible in the market, or what do you really see from the competitors in the space?
Well, it's an important point because we're definitely trying to move as quickly as possible, but not because we see the competitors actually coming, or the incumbents coming in with a gig solution. We've got the benefit of having been born, if you will, mobile. We're a young company who's had, kind of the benefit of early, access to very modern technology. Our incumbents in this space, the largest ones have been around for, decades, if not 1, 2. And so their whole system is built on very antiquated technology. So for them to actually shift from call centers and operators to accessing people on demand on any kind of device, operating system agnostic, would be pretty much impossible. But the other kind of point here is their business model. Right now they really kind of have to charge really expensive prices in order just to kind of support that very heavy infrastructure system. And for them to actually go down market to the SME space right now, they just wouldn't be able to afford it. We pay our linguists actually twice as much as the $1.8 billion competitor in our space. Some pay even, kind of less than that, and they're 5 times as expensive as we are.
Got it. And so for the linguists, especially if these are in medical situations, right? Are they trained in kind of like all those languages in like the medical types of jargon and all that in order to kind of translate correctly? Because I mean, some of the could be like life and death situations, right? So.
Completely. All of our interpreters are HIPAA trained. So that kind of privacy policy is incredibly important right now, and understanding that you can't retain any personal health information about anybody at any time. But they also each have 3 to 5 years of medical interpreting experience. So not just interpreting experience, but medical interpreting experience. And I think what's kind of great about having the gig solution is that every single call in our solution actually comes with a customer rating at the end. No other language service provider does that. And linguists have to maintain a 4-star rating or higher in our system in order to stay on. And we're currently running at a 4.9 star rating all across the board for our interpreters.
I can squeeze one more question, and who's got it?
Hey, how you doing, Kirsten? How do you plan on competing, let's say 5 to 7 years from now, with the advancements in machine learning models and their ability to translate, languages? They're just getting better and better and better. So how do you feel like you work within what's coming on with technology?
So Sherman, if it's all right, I'm going to answer that question in 2 parts. The first part having to do very specifically with healthcare, because that's where we are focused now. And you won't find a healthcare provider out there that will risk the compliance issues and the lawsuits using any machine translation. Not only do they talk about sort of accuracy rates, which will eventually actually max out closer to 40 or 50%, but that does not include medical terminology. They just won't do it. I mean, the risk is just entirely too high. And the lawsuits right now, as you saw in my pitch, are already in the billions of dollars with just kind of like poor access to those translation systems, or like using friends and family. Furthermore, they're not compliant, so they don't meet the law. And the law has kind of been clear that live interpreting is always going to be kind of the ante, if you will, for healthcare. Second part to that system, though, is as we go forward, I mean, as you can imagine, we have so many markets that are available to us. We actually had the 2020 Japanese Olympics, the Tokyo Olympics contract to be their exclusive interpreter for the Olympics. Maybe next year, maybe not. But we've got lots of opportunities, travel tourism. We're now being approached by all kinds of companies in immigration and refugee support. We have virtual conferences who are coming just inundating us now with, we're taking our conferences virtual. Can you help us with ASL or all these interpreting so we can kind of take our content global? And so all of those are kind of interesting opportunities, but you can imagine this is about dialogue. This isn't about just, sort of where's the bathroom, translate and go. So what we're about is sort of that human dynamic, understanding and actually kind of conversations. And right now that, understanding can only take place in your head and mine.
Okay, thank you so much. Sorry I have to cut here. We are over time, and I want to make sure we try to keep it as level playing field as we can here. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us today and hearing more about Jeenie, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yep. All right, judges.
Get your
scores in. Thumbs up. All right. So
in the meantime, for all of you watching at home, make sure you get your vote in for the People's Choice online at est.us/poll.
That's right. We want to hear from you. We want to hear who your favorite company is, and you can also see all the different companies that are participating. So that's pretty cool as well. Not just the ones pitching today.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So our 10th competitor today is Otolith Labs, another company from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. They're actually an alum of Halcyon, an incubator for social entrepreneurs that are changing the world. Let's watch Sam and his pitch.
I'd like you to meet Claire. She developed a vestibular disorder called Meniere's disease. Because of it, she has constant tinnitus, but what's worse is every morning she has to sit in bed for 45 minutes waiting for her vertigo to subside before she can walk safely. Claire isn't alone either. In the US, 16 million people develop vertigo every year. This results in over $10 billion in medical costs from emergency departments alone. But the kicker to all this is there is no existing standard of care for vertigo patients. One prominent ER doctor put it this way: if there was a fast-acting solution for vertigo, it would be revolutionary, not evolutionary. My name is Sam Owen. I'm the founder of Otolith Labs, and I'm going to tell you about something revolutionary. Vertigo is primarily a symptom of a condition related to the vestibular system, a motion sensor that's inside your inner ear. What Otolith has developed is a small bone conduction system about the size of 8 quarters stacked that sends an inaudible vibration to stimulate the vestibular system in a constant but non-informative way. Think of it like a white noise machine. For instance, if you're laying in bed trying to sleep, but noise from traffic, dogs barking, or people talking is keeping you up, you can turn on a fan. That fan produces a white noise that allows you to naturally tune out those disruptive sounds and let you sleep. That's exactly what Otolith technology does, but for the vestibular system. The result is the first fast-acting treatment for vertigo that lasts indefinitely and has no known side effects. Initial data from our clinical trial shows efficacy in the majority of vertigo episodes. And what do I mean by fast-acting?
Instantly, it's like flicking a switch.
And this is no orphan disease. It's quite possibly the single largest medical community without a go-to solution. Even with a 3% penetration rate, Otolith technology could see annual revenues of $1.3 billion. To get there, we've assembled a team of inner ear experts, engineers, and a couple business development gurus. We've been awarded $1.8 million in government contracts and have raised an additional $2.4 million from angel investors. Instant, long-lasting relief that solves a debilitating disorder. Let me show you what that looks like.
That is amazing.
Welcome, Sam Owen.
Thank you.
Sam, it's great to see you again. Judges, jump in with your questions.
Pretty great to see reactions like that. So congrats on getting people help. How far away are you from getting this to market? Like, are there regulatory hurdles that you have to go through, or what's the process?
Yeah, we actually have to go through the de novo process. There is no predicate device. We've got about, we believe, 2 years before FDA approval. And we're going to see if we can get a breakthrough designation and to speed that along.
And what is your intended pricing model?
Recurring revenue model. So we intend to sell something that's like a headband device with a refillable pod. So essentially this would probably be around $500 with a refillable pod lasting about 3 months for $300. So
what's in the pod?
Our custom transducer that's precisely tuned to vibration. In order to be durable medical equipment, you have to guarantee it's going to last for 3 years. We're too young of a company to guarantee that. So by having a replaceable pod, we can guarantee the therapeutic dosage is correct.
Gotcha.
So is there anyone else that's creating an alternative solution to this, or are you guys the only ones focusing on the specific kind of, I guess, people who suffer from this vertigo?
We're the only ones. So there are medications that are not on the market yet that prevent the number of occurrences. There are medications such as antivert, which essentially knock you out, and hopefully when you wake up, your vertigo is over. But there's nothing that's on the market or in any stage of trials right now that actually have an instantaneous relief that doesn't debilitate you.
So that it sounds like the pod might be on the pricey for a good segment of the population. Do you intend to have this covered by insurance?
In the long run, absolutely. Two things we're going to do there is go for a breakthrough designation, which would speed our pass through CMS and getting reimbursement. And two, we're going to go for a unique HCPCS code to make sure that the reimbursement does cover close to the full cost. And again, that shouldn't be difficult since we will be the first of its kind technology on the market.
And why did you decide to tackle this problem?
So originally we started out as a motion sickness company. I have terrible motion sickness, and we developed what is quite possibly the most beneficial and effective solution for treating motion sickness. 2 years into the company, though, we gave our device to an ENT doctor who tried it on his vertigo patients and says, you know, hold up what you're doing. You don't understand. There is nothing to treat our vertigo patients. And we looked at the two markets and we realized vertigo is an order of magnitude bigger than motion sickness. So that's when we pivoted to become a prescription medical device rather than a consumer device.
Awesome. Time's up. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you.
Very interesting. Very interesting stuff. Thanks,
All
Sam.
right.
He's got a great view too, by the way.
I love his view.
Have you seen the behind him?
Fun fact, so yesterday and today, so he makes a second company in our competition who has also been part of the NASA iTech program, which we support.
Right, definitely. I thought you were going to tell me you had motion sickness or vertigo yesterday.
I do, actually.
Okay.
And he knows
Both
it.
at the same time?
No, I have motion sickness,
Oh, okay.
but mine is kind of reverse. And I learned that this year. Instead of getting sick while I'm moving, it's when I'm
sitting still.
So if I go on a boat, it's called land sickness. Instead of getting seasickness, I get sick when I come back from the boat. It's really fun.
Well, glad it's not. I hope it's not the company, because that would be terrible. All right, so let's move on. Next up, we've got our 7 startups left. So we are doing an amazing job. Our next company is coming from Seattle, Washington. It's Refractor. Refractor is an alum of the Patriot Boot Camp, presented by Techstars, and Bunker Labs WeWork's Veteran in Residence program. So let's watch their pitch.
Hi, I'm Mike Frazier, co-founder and CEO of Refactor, a radically simple DevSecOps automation platform for everyone. At Refactor, we envision a world where cybersecurity teams can seamlessly integrate into emerging agile IT and DevOps workflows. But the reality is most cybersecurity teams are being left out of the development process because they are not developers. Currently, the closest solutions are existing continuous integration, continuous delivery systems that are only focused on developers and don't help cybersecurity teams shift left because they were not purpose-built for them and don't integrate with their tools. This is where Refactor comes in. Our founding team of military veterans and cybersecurity experts, such as myself, bring over 40 years of combined experience, and our advisory board is made up of seasoned technical executives that have been cybersecurity practitioners themselves. Here's how Refactor works. The Refactor platform is a layer on top of existing DevOps and security automation tools. You can use your existing automation content directly in the platform or pull from version control in systems such as GitHub and GitLab. Cybersecurity teams can comfortably use a drag and drop builder to build automation pipelines, while DevOps teams can edit the YAML and work with the tools in their native format, even triggering from CLI from existing CI/CD systems they're currently using. Both DevOps and cybersecurity teams can work with tools and environments they are used to and now can collaborate with each other. Teams using Refactor currently to bring cybersecurity into their agile process include Netskope, Tufin, Center for Internet Security, Mindpoint Group, and even the Air Force's Platform One. We currently have over 20 customers with 20 pilots in flight and over 100 deals in our pipeline. We've also grown from 5 to 16 employees in the last 5 months and are on pace to do over $1 million in revenue this year. We are currently raising our seed round, and in 2020 alone, we were awarded numerous awards, including the U.S. Air Force AFWERX SBIR Phase 1 contract, and we're recognized as one of CRN's emerging vendors to watch in 2020. Thank you for considering us for Startup of the Year.
That was great, and I apologize. I said I put an extra R in there because I got so excited about the fact that there's no E, and it's Refactor. Apparently I can't read.
That's okay.
Refactor. There you go. So Refactor. Welcome, Michael Frazier.
Thank you.
How are you?
Good, good.
All right. Who's got the first question? Jump
What's
on
your sales motion? How do you get to your customers, and what's the sales cycle look like there?
Yeah, so currently our sales cycle is around 90 days. We engage with a direct model to cybersecurity companies, vendors, as well as enterprise, and working with DoD primes as well. And so our goal is a land and expand approach to where we go into the company that would, like a DoD prime, who would use our platform internally, and then from there can build and utilize it with their end customers We have the same motion on the commercial side. We're working with 2 of the big 4, and then we're also working with a lot of other SIs as well with the same motion. So it's a a one-to-many essentially motion, and a win-win-win across commercial and DoD to include vendors as well in the motion.
Great question. Next question. Oh, Sherman.
I think you're muted.
Yeah, you might be muted there. Oh.
What do you charge?
So it's a minimum $30,000 a year contract, annual contract, and then scales up with the customer. So everything is credit based, and so we have contracts from $30,000 up to hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in flight that we engage with the customer, and it's a minimum 1-year contract. We're actually now starting to sign customers up to multi-year contracts too, which is great. So it just increases our overall customer value significantly with these multi-year contracts.
And you said you have 20 pilots currently. How many of those are government, and sort of what's the, I'm just curious, like why are you pursuing government? Like what's the angle here with this product and working with the government agencies?
So we have an Air Force AFWERX SBIR contract, and our goal, I'm actually prior Air Force myself, and our goal going into this was to make sure that whatever we do would be dual use. So every feature that we add in will be mapped directly to enterprise. And our whole goal on the government side is we're dealing with a lot of DoD primes that then engage with their end customers. So we're working with L3 Harris, SAIC, Centuri Corp, Accenture Federal. And so we're, again, the one-to-many expansion there, but we take the same sales motion with, say, Accenture on the commercial side, or as well, another one is Booz Allen, same thing. So again, it's the one-to-many, and so we can hit both commercial and DoD sectors. And we're very cognizant of being able to balance between both and making sure that our product roadmap and our sales motion is exactly the same for both sides, obviously with the caveat that government procurement's a little bit different than enterprise, but for us as a company, our product remains the same.
All right, great questions. Thank you, Michael. Thanks
joining everyone. Appreciate it.
Refactor. All right, lots of great veterans.
Yes, and folks who have been able to tap into some of those SBIR programs, which have really been coming a long way.
Yeah.
If for those who don't know, they're the Air Force in particular has kind of led the way, and full disclosure, we've worked quite a bit with them, but their programs have sort of shifted from very traditional SBIR long cycles into more short-term contracts where entrepreneurs get to go in, the applications are quick, the programs are all about delivery and getting them paid quickly, and it's really exciting to see so many companies being able to
non-dilutive startup opportunities, which we always like to see. So
yep.
All right.
Okay, so next up, let's watch the pitch from Solo Funds, another West Coaster joining us from Los Angeles, California, and also a Techstars alum and also from Hillman Accelerator. Let's watch their pitch.
Hi, my name is Travis Holloway, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Solo Funds. Have you ever lived paycheck to paycheck? If the answer to that is no, you've been extremely fortunate, as 78% of the country, even before COVID, actually did, with women and minority women bearing the heaviest burden. These people take trips to payday lenders that look like this in order to make ends meet, where they're met with 400% average interest rates and can never improve their credit, even though the average borrower takes 8 loans a year at $375 each. So we created Solo, a mobile lending exchange connecting individual lenders to individual borrowers for the purpose of providing more affordable access to small dollar loans. The benefits to lenders are simple. They can earn industry-leading returns up to 12% with an average payback duration of just 15 days. For borrowers, they actually are empowered to set their own terms where they receive money fast, within seconds, and they can avoid predatory debt lending traps. Solo is differentiated from every other lender in the market today, as we're the only small dollar, short-term, completely mobile lender with no formal application process to get approved. In 27 months, we've originated 45,000 loans. We're currently on $1 million annualized revenue run rate. We've experienced 40% month-over-month growth, and we have an industry-leading CAC as well as take rate at 11%. We have partners such as Visa and Kiva that we're extremely excited about. Our executive team is comprised of subject matter experts across the board. My background's in finance, where I spent about 8 years as an advisor at Northwestern Mutual. My co-founder, Rodney, his background is originally from P&G as a brand manager, but he went on to found a company called Listener that's been a CNBC top 50 disruptor 4 times over and has raised over $40 million. Solo has raised $6 million in our seed round from phenomenal investors such as Impact America Fund, Techstars, and Mac Venture Capital. We're currently raising our Series A, where we're looking for lead investors, co-lead investors, or other participatory capital. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Bessie's here. Judges, jump in.
Hi, Travis.
I'll go first.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, great. So I'll go first. I actually saw your pitch at another conference, I think Cultural Shift, and loved it. And I actually downloaded the app myself and stuff. So I'm a big fan. I wanted to know a little bit more about kind of how you got people through a process, the churn rate, all of that generally, like, you know, fintech startups, there's a lot of them, it's crowded space and everything. But how do you see like your customer profile, plus also like how people stay on the platform?
Yeah, so great questions. From an acquisition standpoint, the majority of our growth up until September, where we did turn on actual paid acquisition, from October of last year through August of this year, 60% of our App Store downloads came from direct search, which basically goes to show how strong the word of mouth effect for the platform is. With that said, when we turned on paid acquisition, what we saw is that we had about $8 paid acquisition, and primarily that's focused on the lender side of the demographic, as that's what's really powering the growth of the platform from the number of loans being funded. The average lender funds about 9 loans per month, and the average borrower takes about 5 loans per year. So with that said, the repeat usage is extremely high on the platform.
Makes sense. Falon, did you want to jump in?
I just ask if you're accessible nationwide, or if there are any state regulations that you've had to maneuver around.
Yeah, obviously the regulatory environment is pretty robust, and we are nationwide. And the reason why we're nationwide is because we are a marketplace. We're not considered a lender. We're not considered a loan broker. We're not a money transmitter, and we're not a bank or financial institution. We worked alongside Paul Hastings and a number of other law firms to really build out the structure of Solo. And ultimately, we landed on a marketplace to where we're really like Airbnb, but for loans. And that has allowed us to scale nationally without the state-by-state license requirements.
I think that was going to be a bit of my question. So, I mean, scaling up the lender marketplace with consumers is tough versus going to like family offices that would probably love to do it. Is that where you would run into the issues that you're talking about?
So we're not the direct lender, so we're not lending off of our own balance sheet. What we really see is an opportunity right now where traditional lenders who are going to private equity groups, hedge funds, traditional banks to secure their balance sheet are having a very difficult time doing so. Either the cost of capital is too high, or they're unable to secure that capital. So when you think about, you know, the lending clubs that's doing 10% of their usual volume, Lending Tree, which is doing much less volume than they have been in the past, and you see Cabbage, which has now been acquired by American Express. These companies are now struggling with that balance sheet, with securing that balance sheet. So with that said, this marketplace structure actually allows us to scale in a much more capital efficient manner.
Awesome. And time's up. Thanks so much, Travis. Great to see you here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me.
Go ahead and get your scores in.
It's been fascinating to watch his company go from, you know, little to now he's raised some funding and he's doing really great. So.
Yep. All right, everyone's good. Then we'll go on to our next pitch.
Yeah. So next up, we have our next company. It's called SweetBio out of Memphis, Tennessee. SweetBio has been part of the Rise of the Rest tour, or Stop Through Memphis, as well as 5 to 10 with Startco, which is out of Memphis as well. So both partners have been part of the Start the Year network for quite some time. And last year, we actually worked in partnership with Startco to host our event in Memphis. So let's watch their pitch.
Combining ancient remedies with cutting-edge bioscience. At SweetBio, we're creating honey-incorporated medical devices poised to revolutionize advanced wound care. And my name is Kayla Graff, CEO and co-founder. Millions of Americans every year are suffering from life-altering wounds. From diabetic foot ulcers to skin cancer surgeries, these painful wounds take weeks and sometimes months to heal. Now, this has created a multi-billion-dollar industry. However, it's dominated with products made from human tissue that offer a partial treatment with significant hidden costs. So the healthcare system is facing an unprecedented paradox to treat more wounds while minimizing costs. Hospitals are seeking alternatives, and that's where we come in. Our first product, Apis, is intentionally designed to restore balance to the wound in the healthcare system. Through our unique incorporation of Manuka honey, Apis enables an industry-first triple action approach, impacting bacteria, inflammation, and growth factors to progress the wound. Apis is a solid, dissolvable sheet and not human-based, meaning no expensive tracking and storage. And our lower yet premium pricing has already been accepted in hospitals, including the 1,200 facility U.S. Veterans Affairs system. But most importantly, Apis is working. We've treated over 100 patients and consistently see positive results. We've got momentum. In the last 18 months, we've achieved patents, FDA clearance, and are generating revenue with 90% gross margins. And hot off the press, we just kicked off an 80-patient clinical trial in partnership with Vanderbilt University. This quarter, we're launching in operating rooms, selling directly to hospitals through a 1099 distributor model. And early 2021 will be hyper-focused on growing sales, developing new products, and expanding into the Veterans Affairs system. Now, our rockstar team brings medical device expertise from R&D to manufacturing to growing products from 0 to 100 million in sales, and we're just at the beginning of what we can do with our technology. So join us in making a healthier tomorrow start today.
All right, SweetBio joining us with Kayla Graf. Welcome, Kayla.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
For sure. Who's got the first question?
I'm going to ask a logistical question. I've done a decent amount of work in wound care, and I didn't know what Manuka honey was until I did a wound care deal when I was a banker, and there's a limited supply. Are you growing it in a lab, or are you getting it organically? I think it's in the New Zealand, Australian area where it's from. How would you scale with Manuka honey?
I'm so glad you asked that question, Sherman. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do get it organically from New Zealand. We have a great supplier out there. Early on, we bought a large amount of Manuka honey to ensure we had supply up to tens of millions of dollars in revenue. So thankfully, a little dab will do you. We don't use a whole lot of Manuka honey. It's proven to be very effective in small amounts. But just in case, we did secure supply last year with long shelf life so that we can have what we need for the next few years.
Got it. And hopefully you can grow it in the lab. I mean,
that would be fantastic. Yeah. What's interesting with honey? Yeah, sorry, go ahead, please.
No, I'm saying eventually, hopefully you can just grow it in the lab. So yeah.
It would be fantastic. There are 300 compounds. It's an incredibly complex material, which gives us a competitive advantage for a little bit of time, but it's definitely something we're researching.
So are you targeting, is it wound healing, or are you also just targeting scarring as well, helping to heal scars?
Yes, the biggest wound market is diabetic ulcers and these tough wounds that are chronic. There's a lot of competition there, and we've been proven effective in that space. But it's really these adjacent markets that have lower competition and where our triple action works incredibly well. And those are areas like skin cancer surgeries, Mohs surgeries, where scarring is an issue. So we just started this Vanderbilt RCT randomized clinical trial with 80 patients, and we will be assessing scarring.
Great. Great question. Who's got the next one?
Yeah, I just wanted to know more about kind of your background, what made you start this in the first place. I'd love to hear more about founders. I feel like we didn't have a chance, but wanted to make sure. So.
Yeah, the quick story. I'm on the business side. I worked at Target Corporate for some time, and my brother's a biomedical PhD. So while I was helping people expect more, pay less, he was starting to save lives. And he brought me this technology and said, hey, it's a great product. We love it. Doctors love it, but is this a business? And we got into several accelerators pretty quickly, validating we had something special. And I wanted to start something that could change the world and that could impact our populations that I care about. And unfortunately, diverse populations suffer from wounds caused by diabetes at astronomical rates. So we have a chance to not only, improve the standard of care, but help healing our loved ones.
Great. My brother's also a doctor, and he's out lives, and I'm out here on the business side. So maybe, I don't know, in the future, that'll be in the cards.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kayla.
All right, judges, get your scores in there.
We've got a big old jar of Manuka honey.
We sure do, in case she runs out. Don't tell anyone, sometimes I put it in tea.
It's great for so many things.
It is.
Seriously,
yeah.
Everyone should have some.
Yeah.
All right, if your scores are in, we're going to move to the next company. We're going to totally switch gears here, and we're going to have a look at a company called Target Arm from Ridgefield, Connecticut. They are another alum from the Air Force Accelerator powered by Techstars, and let's watch their pitch now.
Hi, I'm Jeff McChesney, the CEO and founder of Target Arm. Imagine a world where you could get a package delivered to your home within 10 minutes of ordering it, and not the normal 2 days. Or that the military didn't have to stop to set up to launch and recover a drone and possibly get shot in the process. And in both those cases, using the exact same solution. That capability is available today. Our device enables launch and recovery of both rotary and fixed-wing drones from any moving vehicle, autonomously, and even during high wind conditions. As can be seen here, our 2 sets of counterposed pin arrays capture the drone from a static position and then release it. And while we're moving, the air goes through the pins. The drone is trying to fly and is unable to until the pins retract, and then it just flies away. The same occurs for recovery. The drone ends up just continuing to fly, the pins captured out of the air, and here we are showing 65 miles per hour. We're dual use capable for both commercial and military, from package delivery to armored personnel carriers, to offshore oil and gas, and the offshore wind farms as our initial targets. We have a $22 billion total addressable market just in the United States, with $5 billion for the military and $17 billion for package delivery, both using a direct sales model. There's no other competing technology when you take a look at the axis about operating at speed, or the other axis operating with multiple drones for both rotary and fixed wing. Virtually all the funding today is occurring down in the bottom left-hand quadrant, and Target Arm owns the top right. Our strategic timeline follows where we can operate today, starting off with the military, then leading into the offshore arena, and then into package delivery over the next 5 years. Our development follows exactly the same timeline, with our minimally viable product due August of 2020. We've got deep industry experience from aviation, from manufacturing, and drones. We've gained significant traction already with contracts with the Air Force, the Army, and BAE Systems. So we're Target Arm, and we're drones on the move.
All right, welcome Jeffrey McChesney. Good to have you here.
Thanks. Yeah, I just got kicked off and came back on, so great timing.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, question.
So you mentioned that in terms of your timeline, you'll have a minimum viable product by year end, I believe. So when did you start all of this? Because I'm assuming it took a long time for R&D and for actually building this. And also, is this something that can, accelerate in terms of going to market and all of that?
Yeah, so it's a great question. Thanks for asking. So where we are right now is we're actually assembling the MVP product, the very first unit right now. We've already built all the components. We've already tested all the components. It's just a pure assembly. Will be done probably around the end of this month. And our first customer to take that is the Air Force, the $750,000 contract. So we're on track to have that actually deployed to them as soon as we finish testing it, say in November. And after that, then it's whoever places orders.
I missed, is this a pure hardware play where it's just a contraption, like someone pushes a button and it captures it, or is there some software that figures out that there's drones that you have to go and capture? Like what's the overall product?
Yeah, so it's part of an overall solution. Obviously, as you can see, that it is autonomous, and so we have a strategic partner, a company called Autonodyne out of Boston, that does the drone hardware and software that integrates with us. We're a pure hardware play, but you can't do what we're trying to do, like automate a package delivery truck where you take the driver even off the truck. You can't do that unless you can deliver to and from. It needs to be autonomous. So we do have software running that we have internal, but it's purely for managing and controlling the automation and the automatic features.
What are limits as far as conditions? So imagine if you being a pilot or someone parachuting, you have wind conditions, et cetera, that are limits for you to fly or to jump out of a plane. What are the different limitations and conditions for the drone?
Yeah, well, right now, what we've got set up is the beauty of this is that the pins actually allow the wind to go through it. So it's really on the direction of the flight that's coming back in. And so if you actually weather vane it, or turn it into the wind, it's much like an aircraft carrier from your background in the Navy. So we've already had it operating at 65 miles an hour and above, because we can't go any faster with our truck. There's really the limit on our truck. But the whole idea here is that if you did a static location, you'd weather vane it, like on an oil and gas rig, which is one of our initial target solutions. Let it turn into the wind, and it's always facing 20, 30, 40, 50 mile an hour winds. It's the same as actually driving a truck.
All right, any last question?
I have one. How far out are we till we're actually getting our packages that way? Like you're seeing the packages shooting out of this, you know.
Yeah, the only limitation that's really holding us back, the technology now exists. So it's really a question of policy from the FAA here in the United States, and it's also a question of public acceptance. Those two things have to come into alignment. It's happening now. There are 7 locations across the United States today where they're actually delivering via drones. And then what'll happen is they'll expand it to working off of a Tular and others. So it's just a question of time.
Gotcha. Thank you.
All right, time's up. Thank you so much for being here
Thank
today.
you. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. All right.
Judges, enter your scores. And we're going to get to the next startup. We're at number 15.
Yeah, we are. I'm just still caught up on the drones flying around the house. And
I'm so excited for this vision of the future where, you know, there's trucks in the center of town and all these drones come flying out, just dropping off packages like it's Santa Claus.
Yep. Pretty much sums it up. All right. Next up, we've got Tilt out of Fort Collins, Colorado. They're another company that came to us from our partner Springtime Ventures portfolio. So let's watch their pitch.
Welcome to Talent in Leave Technology, or TILT. We have found in the last year, caregiving has come out of the closet and it's not going back in. The current state of leave management is incredibly broken. Admin and HR generalists are spending up to 20 to 40 hours per leave on Google spreadsheets and Excel docs. 7 to 10% of employees pre-COVID-19 were taking a leave every single year. And the EEOC has collected over 76 million in just pregnancy discrimination cases alone over the last 3 years. And last, but certainly not least, our HR generalist business partners are truly trying to navigate what we call alphabet soup with all of the different leave legislation that has been passed across the US. Right out of the gates, this is not a niche solution. In just 1 year, there are over 4 million leaves in the small target market that we're pursuing today, which is 500 to 1,000 employees. We've done for leave what TurboTax did for taxes. Taken an incredibly confusing process and streamlined it end to end for all key stakeholders. We sign annual contracts, but it breaks down to about $1,000 per leave, which is incredibly cost effective for our companies. We help companies stay compliant first and foremost, and then streamline the entire process end to end for both employees, managers, and our HR business partners. We have a clean 4-step easy process to get a company rolling. And we've made this incredibly broken and archaic process streamlined for the entire leave landscape. We've demonstrated a 5x increase in our sales in 2020 and stood up a replicatable sales machine that we're excited to turn on into enterprise selling in 2021. This team of incredible humans has gotten us to where we are today and will get us to the next level as we continue forward. Our product is beautiful, clean UX, and we've had great tailwinds from COVID. We're excited to tell you more about Tilt, and thank you so much for your time.
All right, welcome Jennifer Henderson from Fort Collins and Tilt.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, all right, who's got the first question to kick things off here?
I'll go. On the exit opportunities, those also look like potential competitors. Like, what does the competitive landscape look like? And I didn't really get what the overall differentiation is with your product.
Yeah, our primary competitors really are smaller startups that you see differentiating in the space from some of those old entrenched brands. So you'll see the Kronos and things like that that are really form function oriented, check a box and file the form. Where you're seeing the disruption in the space and where Tilt sits and where we run up against competitors is more of a wraparound support. We're the only solution in the market that's involving managers in the process, which we know through experience and research is a key differentiator. In addition, much more user-friendly user interface and technology and the ability to integrate with existing HRIS systems.
Yeah, so and you said that 2021 will be when you focus on enterprise clients. So who have you been going for right now, and sort of kind of what's the average customer value there? Like how are you seeing that play out?
Yeah, the first half of 2020, we really focused on the under 500 employee count, primarily due to legislation that was stood up in March called FFCRA as a result of COVID that directly impacted companies under 500 employees having to comply literally overnight with leave similar to FMLA. Then the second half of 2020, we've upped that to the 500 to 1500 employee count mark, where we're getting those larger ACVs and really starting to turn our wheels in preparation for enterprise. All of this with the intention of walking before we run and demonstrating that early product market fit so that we're able to slide into enterprise next year.
Great questions. Who's got the next one?
And what is your pricing model?
We price on an annual contract model, which we base off employee populations and known leave occurrence run rate. Some of our individuals are also signing 2-year contract models as well.
Makes sense.
And when did you first launch in market?
July 2019.
Can you repeat that? You cut out for 1 second.
Yeah.
We'll make sure everyone hears it.
Yeah, no, we launched the product July of 2019.
Great.
Yeah, excited to say even since the recording of this, we've increased our portfolio and are now 6x since the beginning of the year. We're about a 1 contract per week cadence right now. So it's really nice tailwinds.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Any other questions? I think we're good.
I'll just ask, how are you partnering with different states and managing those different regulations? And are you filing forms on behalf of these employers, or are you just helping them manage them?
It's really state dependent on whether or not we can do that for the individual or get them to the finish line. We don't impersonate any sort of employees. We're pretty, we have a pretty direct line in the sand that we don't want to be ingesting any of that type of personal information. However, 8 states have passed paid leave legislation. All of them have done it a little bit differently. And as you know, it's on many ballots across the US today. So when we're having HR generalists who are having to navigate that paid leave landscape in states they've never had to support employees before, with COVID, as we all know, employees are in states not headquartered anymore. That has really amplified this pain point and put HR generalists on their back feet, which is where we're really nice. We live, breathe, and eat leave and know it very detailed in all of those 8 states and have the support and resources ready to go.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you all. Great to meet you.
Yep. All right, judges, let's get those scores going. And let's see, what do you want? You have any thoughts about leave, Jen?
Oh gosh, bringing back memories from many years ago. But you know, when you're a startup founder, you know, there is no leave. I remember the early days of, you know, even from bed rest on, just literally the laptop was a foot away, baby, juggling, finally getting to a point where we could get help. But it's a unique challenge for startup founders, I think.
For sure. All right, so I should also, we good? Or I should, okay. I think we'll move on here in a second here. Jen, you got the next one.
All right, so next up, let's hear from Ubiquitous Fitness, UBQFIT from Boca Raton, Florida. Another alum from Tampa Bay Wave. Let's watch their pitch.
Hi, I'm Ellie, the CEO and founder of UBQFIT. We're a wellness and fitness live stream marketplace powered with AI, VR, game, and gamification to enable significantly enhanced levels of engagement in one-on-one and group sessions. We are not a content dissemination fitness application. They have very high turnover. We are also not a platform driven by big expensive equipment. We're a software platform deeply focused on innovation in creating unique user value proposition. There are 3 personas on the platform: trainees, influencers, and watchers. Trainees have access to vetted trainers. They can choose from a variety of categories and have many tools available to them to create unique fitness experiences. Influencers get to monetize gaps in their schedule, fans and followers, and watchers can hang out, enjoy, chat, donate until there's the right time for them to do something. What's unique about us is that we're the only fully integrated social networking marketplace platform in the fitness and wellness space. We offer live fitness data, live chat, live donations, many ways to book, unlimited categories, and the list goes on. What we're really excited about, though, is the game and gamification powered by AI, VR, and face and body sensing technology that will take engagement on UbiQFIT to levels unmatched. That's rolling out in the next few weeks. We went beta in 2020. Team is built, 7,000 users signed up, 2,000 influencers signed up, 1,000 pieces of content created, and this is going to App Store the next day. Product roadmap has been laid out till 2022, and it will get added on to. We have 9 revenue opportunities, low capital costs, high margins, we're highly scalable, and the timing for this product is perfect. The way we're approaching the marketplace, we get to add to the TAM opportunity by approaching meditation, martial arts, Olympic coaches, and many more. There's so many use cases for our users to engage with us. I come from a consulting investment banking background, and I fell into angel investing. Amin has led 6 other startups. Our advisors have been part of Apple Health, have had exits to Google, and helped build Morgan Stanley's VC group in the Silicon Valley. Please stay in touch, ask us any questions. We'd love to get to know you.
All right, welcome to the stage, Ellie Samardi.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. Questions?
I think you mentioned that the app is going to the App Store soon. So your results so far have been test flight, like people that you've known and curated into the platform. Is that right?
Yeah, the app is in the App Store as of last week. It's been in the App Store, but we've been iterating. So we've been sort of in the beta mode. So combination of test flight and beta mode. So we haven't really been marketing. We haven't been really sort of, trying to build business yet. As of last week is when we started.
And is it a subscription business, or you mentioned also booking sessions? So is it personalized training, combination of the two?
Yeah, we have very strategically decided against putting a subscription up front. Pretty much all other players in the marketplace are upfront subscription based. We are a marketplace platform. We're approaching the space as Twitch did for online gaming. So keeping it open, allowing the masses to come in, and then pushing them to different types of monetization as they engage with the app and engage with the influencers and content.
How do you source, and also how do you sort of moderate or oversee the content that's provided on the platform?
Yeah, it's designed very much like most other social networking platforms. Every piece of content, whether it's a blog, whether it's a short form, long form, or a session, has the consumers have the ability to report inappropriate content. And then we obviously have our own in-house staff that goes through content and takes content that could be inappropriate or maybe not fit our brand. We'll take it off the platform. As far as sourcing is concerned, we have been relying primarily through beta on free job boards, and we've had a huge incoming just from free job boards. But now we're shifting from kind of that organic process to building relationship with big agencies that manage big relationships of influencers that have anywhere from 500,000 to millions of followers, and kind of bringing those guys on board to create the front end, have them to front end the momentum on top of our paid advertising and organic marketing.
Time for one final question.
I'll ask it. How does this fit into like the landscape? Just so I get a better picture. You've got people like Apple coming in now with, they're going to be building product could compete with this, and you've got a million other apps. I think I pay for 2 or 3. I don't cover your ears. You're not supposed to hear that. But yeah, so like, how does this fit?
Well, like I mentioned in the presentation, the marketplace is bifurcated. There's the big equipment companies like the Peloton and Mirror, and then 95% of the other products fit into this content dissemination platforms, where they compile recorded content, and then they slap a subscription up front, and that's kind of the product. They're a feature.
Yeah.
We went at it as in we want to be a platform, right? We want to offer large classes. We want to offer a game that's driven by AI, VR, and like body sensing technology and all that. We want to be able to offer one-on-one. We want to be able to offer sort of so many different things where the user comes in and they
paid apps.
Got it. So you're like Switzerland, kind of in a way.
Yeah, we're literally like Twitch, but for fitness and wellness. Yep. The business model follows that type of monetization of like, okay, you come in now, you can subscribe to a trainer channel, just that specific trainer that you're inspired by, or you can buy a class, or you can do a one-on-one session. If you want to buy a subscription to the platform, you can, that is available, and you get benefits from doing that, but that's not a requirement to be on the platform.
Lower barrier entry,
right.
get it. Okay,
Thank you
perfect.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Time is
Thank
up.
you.
Yep.
And judges, enter your scores as we go into our final company of the day.
I mean, that's really, the last one's really interesting because of the fitness. You know, obviously there's a lot of fitness apps, and with the one-on-one being actually doing it real time is different than a lot of the apps. Most of the stuff I look at is canned.
Yep.
But
so much of our, since we stopped going to the gym, so much of our fitness consumption is just through our phones.
Right. It doesn't help me with the pool though.
No. He's a swimmer.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, next up, our last pitch of day 2 of the Start of the Year Summit here in 2020 is Youth Enrichment out of Houston, Texas. Let's watch their pitch.
My name is Margot Baines, founder of Youth Enrichments, and we are strategically leveraging technology and data for kids. To date, we've gained 1 corporate partner, we have 10 parents subscribed in 2 countries, and we have 3 school contracts. 75% of kids ages 7 through 11 suffer from low self-esteem, and 68% of those kids face unreached potential. There's literally been a 57% increase in suicidal death due to low self-esteem in kids. But we are the experts in self-esteem development. In 2016, we produced amazing youth conferences. In 2017, we built our very first brick and mortar. And in 2018, we won contracts with schools and organizations, all centered around self-esteem development. We grossed nearly $300K in revenue and impacted over 10,000 kids. When the pandemic struck, we needed a way to quickly pivot our in-person model. So we created a SaaS, self-esteem-based e-learning platform that helps kids everywhere reach their full potential. A trusted adult enrolls their child into the platform. It collects actionable data and delivers social and emotional learning skills. It then makes suggestions like course continuation, therapy, or even counseling. We want to capture 10% of this $47 billion market, and our unique business model allows us to do just that within the next 4 years. With my background in finance as a military veteran with a passion for social services, I've been molded into the perfect leader for this social enterprise. And I've put together a dream team with a combined 50 years of relevant experience who will make sure that we are effective and impactful in global markets. Children shouldn't be limited to unrealized potential because of unhealthy self-esteem, but we're using the power of technology, empowerment, and data to help kids everywhere reach their full potential. Our $450K pre-seed round will further our development and impact. Thank you.
All right, let's welcome Margot Baines. Welcome, Margot.
Hi. So good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Who's got the first question? We'll get that timer started too.
Hi, I'll jump in. I'm just wondering, how you're thinking about acquiring customers and cutting through the noise that's out there and making sure that you guys stand out in this space.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Great question. So we are acquiring customers via our parent subscriptions. We're also our go-to-market strategy is corporations. So we want to offer our employers sort of like a stress relief for their parents. A lot of parents have their kids at home and they really have not a lot to do. So our platform is there to offer social and emotional well-being and development for their children. So we would like to offer our platform to these corporations for their employees. And then we're also going into schools. Social and emotional learning is in high demand right now, especially given COVID. So they're really reaching for any and everything that will put the mental health of their children first.
All right, great question. Who's got the next one?
The slide that you had on your go-to-market went by pretty quick, but I think I saw 6,500 for the corporations and then other things on there. Can you just talk about that slide a bit more? Is 6,500 an average price? Is it based on something?
Sure.
What else was on that?
Sure. Great question. So we would like to approach corporations to be added as like an employee benefit. $6,500. It's sort of like an average price. Annual contracts could range all the way up to $60,000. It just depends on how many employees that corporation has. And then schools, They pay an average of $3,500 annually per program implementation. And then parents pay $9.99 for a subscription. And then we also go into churches. We found a pretty huge market with churches and them wanting programs like this for their youth. So their annual fee is $1,500.
All right.
And is there a particular age group range that your software is optimized for?
Yeah, sure. Great question again. So typically ages 6 through 14 is our target audience, but we will have programs for high school age children, and then also 3, 4, and 5-year-olds.
Great. We got about 30 seconds left. Let's ask one more question if you have one. No further? Okay, Margot, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
It's definitely a really important issue, so thank you for taking it on.
Thank you.
All right, judges, tally it up. I think, growing up, I think I, tuned into Mr. Rogers quite a bit, and I think that's what, that's kind of the 80s version of the helping with the self-esteem. I don't know, what did you do, Jen?
No, I 100% agree. I mean, in addition to family, right. Being there, some of those programs that were all about
you're special, you can do
you're special, you can do it.
Yeah.
Those were there.
And it was great. I wish he was still around.
But I think what's interesting is we're seeing a number of other companies like Youth Enrichments, and we had some others that were approaching things from different sides. We had some that were focused on anti-bullying, and others are focused on self-esteem to try to combat some of these things that are affecting so many kids.
Right, for sure. Definitely important as you see schools becoming, well, not right now, but obviously becoming battlegrounds in a lot of places. So
yep. All right.
So
judges, are we done?
All right, great job, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging in here with us and watching these 17 companies.
All right, so don't forget tomorrow to join us for our top 5 finals pitch competition, followed immediately by our 2020 Startup of the Year Summit Awards ceremony. So we're very excited. We have one more semifinals pitch, and then we have our top 5 pitch, followed by the awards.
Tomorrow's going to be a busy day for sure.
Very busy day tomorrow. And before the end of this session, I want to remind all of you, please go vote for the People's Choice Award. You have a say in the matter. Go to est.us/poll.
You can do it now.
Get your vote in. We want to know who you think should win the People's Choice Award. And for many of you, you're here to connect with others. So now is the time. Go reach out, network today, jump into one of the networking spaces, and meet at least one new person before the day is done. That's why you're here. This is what this is all about. And if you're joining the conversation, if you're also on social media, share some of your insights, your quotes, your takeaways. Make sure you use hashtag Startup of the Year so we can see what people are up to and what they're saying.
Yeah, and actually, before we let all these amazing judges go, we're going to do a quick round the horn here. One piece of advice that you would like to give a startup that's out there starting or thinking of doing this this crazy journey. So I'll just go in the order I see it. Falon, you go first, and then Gary, Sherman, John, and Cheryl.
I guess I'll state something pretty obvious, but also very important. Just never give up. Perseverance is everything. If you can outlast your competition and last one standing, you'll more than likely be the one that wins.
Great. Gary?
I'd say focus. It's great to have like a bigger vision and a 10-year plan, but you got to get to year 2. So really focus on what you need to do over the next year.
Good point. Sherman?
Focus completely on execution. That's what it's all about. Execution in and of itself is a competitive mode. So that's key.
Definitely. John?
All the above, plus work really hard to articulate very, very clearly what your mission and your vision are.
Excellent. And Cheryl, putting you in a tough spot, going last after all that great advice. Go ahead.
Make sure that whatever it is that you decide to do for the next 5-10 years, something that you're passionate about, because this is a masochistic love and you just want to make sure that you give it your all.
Great advice. Thank you all very much. All right, so tomorrow we're going to kick off with some conversations a little longer than the ones we just had with tomorrow's Tim Draper, actually. So he's a venture investor as well, venture capitalist, third generation venture capitalist with Draper and Associates. He started Draper University. He's the author of the book Startup Hero. He's got a lot of gusto, as you would
Yes,
say.
he does.
And we also have a lot of Ask Me Anythings with AF Ventures, Sarah Evans, who's a social media and PR pro, as well as a number of opportunities for you to connect in the networking halls as well. So lots going on. We mentioned tomorrow is a big pitch day. We've got our third day of pitching. We've got those 17 companies, 17 more or 18 more companies pitching, and then we've got the finals. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely come back tomorrow and be a part of this community. And we really thank you for being here today.
And we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.